Welcome to the Parenting with Grace and Grit podcast, where every week we discuss behavior and the top 3 strategies we, as behavior analysts, suggest to work on it.
Hey Lauren, hey everybody, thanks for being here. Today we're going to be talking about Halloween. So there can be so much excitement behind Halloween, but for younger kids, there can also be a lot of hesitation. So in this episode, we're going to be going through how to manage expectations and hopefully get through the festivities without major meltdowns.
So, strategy number 1 is just simply wearing the costume. We want you to have your child practice wearing their costume ahead of time. This is helpful if your child is sensitive to certain fabrics, so you can determine what might be bothering them and make adjustments as necessary before the big day. This can also be helpful with just exposing your child to the costume. Sometimes kids love the idea of something, but when introduced to it, it can be really overwhelming. You can have your child practice wearing it and slowly start increasing the amount of time they will wear it. You can also time it. Maybe they're thrilled to put it on, but you notice a few minutes later they're ready to take it off. Time how long they'll keep it on, and then slowly work on increasing that time by giving them a fun activity to play with while they're wearing it. Once the timer goes off, they can take it off if they want. If your child completely has a meltdown when attempting to put it on, you can have them hold it, put one arm in, or whatever they're willing to do to start them to getting them used to it. If the costume also comes with a mask, you can have them practice with that. If they don't want to wear the mask because it's too scary or too uncomfortable, that's okay too. They definitely don't have to wear the costume perfectly. This is just about having fun. And say the day comes and you still have not been able to get them in their costume. Hey, it is what it is. They can still have fun.
Absolutely. Lauren, do you have any additional tips for the opposite of this? So I actually saw that on Instagram this week where a mom was like, they say practice wearing the costume. What about getting it off?
That's a great question. Probably would have to be setting a timer for how long they're allowed to wear it and then giving them a fun activity once it's off.
Yeah, I think that's probably going to be the key there is, say once we take it off, we can insert some super fun, exciting activity that they love. And it might not be your favorite activity, maybe something like Play-Doh or kinetic sand or something, that is really going to entice them to take it off. Okay, strategy 2 is practice. So pretend you're at the event and go through what it will be like. This goes for any type of fall festivities. So you can talk about what the event may be like, what are the things they might see, and who might be there. Next, you'll want to practice. So for Halloween, you can have them wear their costume and practice ringing the doorbell, saying trick or treat, or whatever aspect of Halloween that you may think they have hesitations about. Maybe if they're a little bit older, you can practice standing at the driveway and having them practice walking up to the house by themselves. The key takeaway from this strategy is exposure and preparing them for what the events may be like. Practicing can help them be more comfortable in their skin when that day comes.
And then the last strategy we have is preparing for the unexpected and setting expectations. We are so lucky that we live in a time where most venues or events will post details beforehand. For instance, if the event will be scary or not. But sometimes we might not know what our kids will find scary. As you practice with your child at home, you can prep them for this. You can say something like, when we're trick or treating, there might be something or someone you think is scary. If you think something's scary, you can let me know. It can be your decision if we still go to that house or if we keep going. It's okay to be scared, and when you're scared, we can stop and take a break. You can also prep them for some coping skills. Like, when you're scared, we can hold hands or we can take a ride in the wagon. Maybe your kid is extremely brave, and so you're more worried as a mama. You can tell somebody that might be jumping out at a house that, hey, they're only 4, and that can just let them know to back off a little bit. It's also a great idea to set expectations before you go to the event and during the event. Expectations might sound something like this, but of course, it's dependent on your family. So you could say, when we're trick or treating, we're going to use our big girl voice or our big boy voice. We'll use our manners and say please and thank you when someone gives us candy. We're going to wait for our sister because she might be a little bit slower than you, and that's okay. We're going to use walking feet, and we'll let mommy know when we are tired so that we can take a rest. This is also a good time to set expectations around candy and whatever your rules might be for that. And then for older kids, you can also set a curfew if they're trick or treating with their friends. or if you are expecting them to trick or treat with smaller siblings. And at the end of the day, give yourself and your family some grace. I know that Halloween can be super overstimulating. Meltdowns and tantrums might happen, but the holiday is meant to be fun. If it's not fun, go home. It's okay to not enjoy it.
Okay. Now it's time for a Grace and Grit segment where we give advice to situations pertaining to the topic from listeners. It's always anonymous, and if you want to write in, you can email us at graceandgritbcs@gmail.com. Hey, Grace and Grit, I have a 14-year-old with autism who wants to go trick or treating this year. I worry that he'll be judged for being older, but I still want him to have fun. Any tips? Well, I would say first off, we absolutely agree that he should have fun and go trick or treating. Without knowing his severity level, I would say that there are several ways to approach this, and you just need to decide what you feel most comfortable with. So, one option is obviously going with him and hanging back, addressing any negative comments if needed, hoping you wouldn't have to. And then another option is attending a local event, such as a trunk or treat that is thrown for the autism population, or sometimes they have, sensory trick or treating that you could go to. But we hope that you guys would have an amazing time. Anything to add, Lauren?
No, I think he has every right to go and enjoy himself. So definitely try it out.
Absolutely. And if you need any additional support or have questions, you can always email us too. We'd love to hear from you and see a picture of him in his costume.
All right.
Thanks for listening, guys. We hope that these tips are helpful for Halloween, and we hope everyone has a great time trick or treating and that it goes so smoothly. And we would love to see all of your kids dressed up in their costumes. So if you use any of these tips, you can tag us in your post, and we would love to see it. Grace and Grit BCS Instagram handle. If you need help or have additional questions, you can email us at graceandgritbcs@gmail.com. We also have free resources and products on our website. Visit us at graceandgritbcs.com. Thanks so much for listening to Parenting with Grace and Grit.